Top of the morning, fight fans. This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Anthony Joshua. Of course, we know one of the biggest upsets of the decade has occurred with him being defeated by Andy Ruiz, and the question is now, does he have a rematch clause? And according to Anthony Joshua, this is what he had to say. He said that he wasn't really concerned about a rematch clause because he was so confident that he would beat Andy Ruiz. He said, if there's a rematch clause, we'll go again. That's what you do. You go again, you readjust, you focus, and you come back stronger. I want to beat him up this time. And that is what Anthony Joshua had to say. So let me counterpunch and clear up what he meant by that. Okay. This is simple. Anthony Joshua said, I wasn't worried about a rematch clause, but if there is one, that tells me already, guys, that Anthony Joshua didn't sign that contract. Eddie Hearn did for Anthony Joshua, just like a lot of his fights. Eddie Hearn has already stated that he will sign on the behalf of his fighter if it's a fight that he wants or he feels that fight is worth being made. Okay? So he's already said that. He says, I can sign the signature, and my signature is just as good as my fighter, especially when it comes to Anthony Joshua. Okay, he said that in numerous interviews. So he knows about the stipulations of the contract, and honestly, I don't think there is a rematch clause because that's why it's such a big letdown. However, according to Eddie Hearn did say, well, he will fight him again in the UK, in Wembley, in November, October. Now, the question is, will Andy Ruiz accept that? You know? And that's a question for another day. You know, that's a whole nother video topic. But back to Joshua, I think Joshua should have got, somebody on his team. But I think someone beside Eddie, I think he should have looked at, or him and Eddie should have looked at, hey, is there a rematch clause? You know, but those are things you happen when you're too overly confident, and you know you have to prepare yourself, you know, for those type of things. But again, that could happen. You know, I mean, like let's look at another superpower, another cash cow, Canelo Alvarez, right? Canelo Alvarez's promoter, Oscar De La Hoya, would have someone, probably not him personally, but that would, a rematch clause of any kind, someone with that much money on the line, someone with that type of brand, someone with endorsements, someone that really carries the sport of boxing on their back or helps carry the sport of boxing on their back, would have a rematch clause implemented. So it's sloppy on Team Joshua not to have that in place. It just is. Like, Eddie Hearn should have answered that question right away. But Eddie Hearn probably knows. No, we didn't even put one in. He's good at replacements, but he's not good at adding these particular factors to the contract, obviously. You know, I think what Eddie Hearn was referring to is, Eddie Hearn was referring to the fact that, yeah, he's going to fight us again because we're going to offer him so much fucking money to come to Wembley that he's not going to be able to turn it down. You know what I mean? If $8 or $7 or $8 million or how much ever he got for fighting Joshua, if he thinks that's good, how about 50? They'll probably offer the same deal they offered Deontay Wilder, but probably for just one more fight. So it would probably be $50 million. And no one in their right mind would turn down that amount of money, right? Mind you, in their right mind. You know, so I think he's confident with the money that they will offer Andy Ruiz to come over to the UK. I think without the contract, they have the money still because it's still a DAZN function, and I think they would want to fight on Wembley. But it's different now. It's really different now, you know, for Andy Ruiz because he's in a different position. Let's face it. You know, Anthony Joshua is no longer the unified champion of the world. Ruiz is. So he can make it bargaining and, you know, and that's Al Heyman's guy. So we look at it like this. I know Al Heyman, what he does with his fighters. And one of his rules of thumb, never accept the first offer. You know, and I think it will be some back and forth, but a deal will be made. Okay, so that back to Joshua, he didn't sign the rematch clause because he was that confident, But confident or not, you should be able to sit down and do proper business. That's my counterpunch on that because this is boxing. He's not invincible. Anybody can be hurt, anybody can be floored, especially with somebody with some punching power. It does not matter what you look like, Stephen A. Smith. But anyway, I had to put that in there, guys. You guys tell me what you think about Anthony Joshua's contract and rematch situation. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace.